ASAP Rocky has clapped back at the internet for saying he disrespected Rihanna.
First they was saying the nigga was wearing thongs. Then they was saying I'm disrespectful to my wife.
He addresses the video of him disrespecting Rihanna. Remember the one we talked about?
Thank God y'all didn't know me when I was single, because I would have.
If I was Rihanna, he would have been kicked to the curb. Yup. Kicked to the curb. This is why some men don't need to be dating another bad bitch, because they can't handle it. They don't know how to handle a bad bitch.
What is going on? Seeing ASAP Rocky seemingly put Rihanna in an awkward spot during a concert she had been supporting was definitely not on my 2026 bingo card. We really need to talk about this because honestly, this doesn't look like a one-time moment. And no, I'm not talking about the Met Gala. I've gone through several clips that have people asking a lot of questions. Are they in love? Probably. Have they been dealing with some rocky moments? It definitely seems possible, and it's fair to acknowledge that. Will they work everything out? Only they know. But has ASAP shown a pattern of creating uncomfortable public moments with high-profile women he's been linked to? That's a question a lot of people have been bringing up, especially if you remember Chanel Marr back in 2013. Maybe you don't remember that situation, but I do. Let's take a look at these clips because people keep pointing back to them and the conversation isn't going away. Is this really any of our business? Maybe not, but when something happens in front of a crowd, it naturally gets people talking. So if you're wondering what started all of this, here's the moment from Ace's concert in Arizona that has everyone reacting. Okay, listen closely to what he said. I even put together a full PDF slideshow, so don't worry, I saved all the clips and details. Let's break this down because there's a lot to unpack here. Now I know what you're thinking. Did he really just tell the entire crowd, y'all are lucky I'm not single? Because back in the day, I would have been chasing after all of you. That's the moment that immediately got people talking, and it's easy to see why. A lot of viewers felt the comment was surprising, especially considering his current relationship, and the reaction online took off almost instantly. I already know what some of you are thinking. Where's the context? Maybe it was part of a song. I wanted to give it that benefit of the doubt too, but listen to what comes next before making up your mind. Before we get into the rest of the clips, let's talk about the bigger picture. Are Rihanna and ASAP still in love? Hopefully. Do they have a beautiful family together? Absolutely. Does Rihanna seem to care deeply about him? From everything we've seen, it certainly looks that way.
I heard about how Phoenix got some beautiful ass women out here, bro. Scottsdale, Phoenix, all this shit. They was just like, that's what all the pretty ladies in America had. They in fucking Arizona, bro. Y'all didn't know me when I was single, because I would have fucked the shit out you if you was pretty.
But a lot of people felt that making a comment like that on stage crossed the line and didn't come across as very respectful. If you see it differently, that's your opinion, but plenty of fans questioned whether that moment was really necessary. He's known for being charismatic, but many felt the comment didn't add anything positive. The audience was a mix of all kinds of fans, and with Rihanna having recently welcomed a new baby, it's easy to understand why the moment caught so many people off guard. Rihanna has been facing constant comments online about her appearance, even though she's a mother of 3 young children. A lot of people have noticed that she seems more focused on her family these days, and that's completely understandable. We'll get into the relationship side of things in a moment because it connects to the bigger conversation. Meanwhile, other celebrities and online discussions have continued to bring her name into the spotlight, adding even more attention to everything she does. Rihanna has also made a point of showing up to support ASAP Rocky at several of his concerts, helping promote his events and standing by his side. That's why some fans found it surprising that when she wasn't at one of the shows, this happened. At another performance, he even gave her a shout-out, saying, "Yo, my love, no disrespect," before playing one of his well-known songs. But this latest moment felt different to many people and sparked a much stronger reaction online. Personally, I think that's why so many viewers started looking at the situation differently. Of course, I don't know either of them, and this is just my opinion, but it seems like people are picking up on a shift in the dynamic. When ASAP Rocky and Rihanna first got together, Rihanna was already one of the biggest names in entertainment, and she still is today. Take a look at the rest of the clips and decide for yourself what you think. ASAP Rocky has always had his own style and unique appeal. He's built a strong reputation, especially in the fashion world, but his audience has always been more specialized than someone with truly global recognition. There's a different level of attention that comes with stars like Rihanna or Cardi B, where almost every public appearance becomes a major event and people can't stop talking about it.
A$AP Rocky's true colors is coming out. I totally understand why Rihanna was looking like that at the Met Gala. Remember when he was talking to some other girl? It's because she knows he can't help himself. He's gonna flirt. He can't just have a normal conversation. Because watch the video where he was just at his recent concert and he said this.
Thank God y'all didn't know me when I was single, because she fine as get this guy. You and your friend fine as.
When someone reaches that level of fame, the reactions around them can be intense. Crowds get excited, cameras come out everywhere, and all eyes are suddenly on that one person. On top of that, Rihanna has a personality that many fans connect with. She can come across as warm and funny, but she's also confident and knows exactly how she wants to present herself. That's why I've always thought their relationship caught so much attention. When A$AP and Rihanna first got together, plenty of people were surprised and even asked, "Weren't you dating a billionaire? Why are you dating A$AP?" Whether those comparisons were fair or not is another question. My view is that Rihanna has been supportive of his career and helped shine an even brighter spotlight on his work, making him feel more like a team as their relationship grew. Now fast forward a few years and 3 children later, Rihanna has been through so much in the spotlight. She's experienced the highs and lows of global fame, built an incredible career, and reached remarkable success. These days, many fans feel she's putting far more of her energy into her family than chasing every headline, and that's a noticeable change. When you look at events like the Met Gala, some people felt she spent a lot of her time supporting A$AP Rocky and helping him enjoy his moment. She came across as a partner who was there to encourage him, stand beside him, and make sure everything went smoothly. Some people will say that's exactly what partners do, and that's a fair point. But others felt the support didn't always seem equally appreciated, which is why this conversation is continued online.
She popped out 3 babies for this man, and their youngest daughter, Rocky, Irish, is not even a year old, and he's acting like that. Some of the comments are saying that they think he's trying to humble her, that he's trying to embarrass her because he's jealous of her success, and they also have theories that she's not really his type. What's really annoying is that in interviews, whenever Rihanna talks about A$AP, she just has amazing things to say about him, saying that he's the greatest dad, the best man in the world, and this is what he does. This is how he shows his love. Yeah, a lot of fans are not happy about it, and I can see why.
Let's go back to the Met Gala for a second, before we look at some older moments. If you see your partner looking uncomfortable, most people would naturally want to check in with him. Rihanna was getting plenty of attention herself, and she was also interacting with one of the heirs to the Swarovski family fortune. With so many cameras focused on every move, even small moments quickly became a big topic of discussion. The woman he was speaking with is an heir to the Swarovski family, and A$AP Rocky was clearly engaged in the conversation. When 2 well-known people attend an event together, especially when they're both successful and constantly in the spotlight, many fans expect them to present a united front. Public appearances naturally attract attention, and interactions with other people are often watched very closely. People are always going to approach celebrities, start conversations, or try to get their attention. That's just part of being famous. But some viewers felt this particular interaction looked awkward because Rihanna appeared to be left out of the moment. Others may see it differently, but that's one reason the clip sparked so much discussion online. Many fans have even said they believe Rihanna would have tried to make sure her partner felt included if the situation had been reversed. At the end of the day, everyone will interpret the moment in their own way. I'm simply pointing out why so many people reacted the way they did. Take a close look at the interaction, watch everyone's body language, and decide for yourself what you think happened. Let me zoom in, because this is the part a lot of people keep debating. Some viewers said everyone was overreacting, while others felt the clips told a different story. Watch the interaction closely. Some people interpreted his body language as looking especially friendly, pointing to moments like him reaching toward her jewelry during the conversation. That's one reason the discussion spread so quickly online. Of course, people have different customs depending on where they are, and friendly greetings can vary from place to place. Even so, some fans felt this interaction seemed more personal than they expected. At the same time, Rihanna appeared serious in the clips, and many viewers began reading into her facial expressions. Whether that's an accurate interpretation is impossible to know, but it's definitely what sparked so much conversation.
This is not the first time of him being said to be disrespecting Rihanna. We all remember that video of them in the Sprinter together. Again, we don't even really know what was going on in the Sprinter. In that video that I played earlier, you can also see that he addressed the thong situation. Again, I thought he was in new underwear. I did not think he was in a thong. And again, despite all these rumors of them saying that he disrespects Rihanna, they still seem to be building their family and sticking together.
Another detail people pointed out was how the interaction ended. Some viewers noticed that the conversation appeared to continue without much acknowledgement of Rihanna, while others focused on ASAP stepping into the area where Rihanna was being interviewed. Then there was another clip circulating online that some claimed showed the two having a tense discussion in a car. People even suggested it reflected concerns about feeling appreciated, although only they know what was actually being discussed. A lot of people online, including some who claimed to read lips, shared their own theories about what was being said, while others completely disagreed. There were also clips that many viewers believe showed a tense public exchange between the two. Since all of this happened after the earlier moments people were already discussing, it only added more attention to the situation. There were plenty of other moments the fans started connecting as well. Looking back, some people have compared this situation to stories involving other past relationships, saying they notice what they believe is a similar pattern. Whether you agree with those comparisons or not, they've become part of the wider conversation surrounding these clips. At the Met Gala, many fans felt Rihanna was doing everything she could to support A$AP Rocky and help highlight his moment. That's why some viewers were disappointed by what they believed happened afterward. Some interpreted his interactions with other women as being overly friendly, while others saw nothing unusual at all. In my opinion, it's easy to understand why people debated the clips, especially since they also raised questions about who was trying to be the center of attention. Ultimately, everyone can watch the footage and decide for themselves.
We don't know what happens behind closed doors. I saw a lot of people in my comments from my video earlier this week saying that, how does he get his money and everything? He is a pretty successful artist and his story has been pretty packed out. Do we think A$AP was right for addressing all these things at his recent show? Is he doing right by Rihanna?
But let's not forget what happened even before the Met Gala. When A$AP held one of his first major fashion shows, Rihanna was right there in the front row, recording, cheering him on, and showing support like many partners would. Whether they're married or not isn't really the point. The important part is that she showed up for him and helped bring even more attention to the event. What stood out to some fans was what happened afterward. They expected him to walk over, greet her, or at least acknowledge her right away. Instead, from the clips people shared online, it looked like Rihanna was the one who approached him while he was already talking with others. Some viewers even pointed to her facial expression as a sign that she seemed frustrated before returning to her seat, although only she knows how she actually felt. People have also brought up another moment when Rihanna was seen leaving one of A$AP's listening events before he did. She had arrived to support him, but later left on her own while the event continued. Naturally, that sparked even more speculation online. Some people believe these moments are meaningful, while others think they're being overanalyzed. That's why the conversation has remained so divided, with fans continuing to debate what these public appearances really show. Like I said before, a lot of people feel this isn't the kind of public support they expect to see between partners, especially when one person has been there through so many important moments. Many fans believe Rihanna has consistently shown up for A$AP, and that's why these clips have sparked so much discussion. Whether you agree or disagree, that's the perspective many viewers have shared. To me, it's almost like this. Imagine someone works hard to reach a bigger stage, and once they get there, they start wanting even more attention instead of appreciating what they've already built. That's only my interpretation, of course, but is one explanation people have suggested while looking at these public moments. From the outside, some fans feel there are times when he seems focused on proving himself, even though many would say he's already achieved an incredible amount.
So they get insecure, right? They get insecure and they start talking shit. They start doing stuff like this, and then it almost ends up in cheating. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up in a couple of years him cheating on her because of his insecurities.
That reminds me of an older interview where Snoop Dogg shared some advice with A$AP. He talked about recognizing the value of the relationship you're in and appreciating what you have. He also mentioned that success can attract jealousy and outside influences, and that it's important not to let those distractions pull you away from what matters most. Many people have pointed back to that advice while discussing everything that's happened recently. The message from that interview was that success can sometimes bring outside pressure and distractions. People may encourage you to compete for attention or let your ego take over instead of appreciating what you already have. The advice was simple: stay grounded, value your relationship, and don't let outside opinions pull you off course. He also pointed out that every relationship has its own balance, and there's nothing wrong with supporting your partner when it's their time to shine. Looking at everything that's happened, some fans believe they're seeing a pattern. When Rihanna and A$AP first got together, I remember thinking, it's been a long time, maybe things are different now. But I also found myself remembering his past relationship with Chanel Iman, because people have started comparing those situations during recent discussions. Back then, A$AP Rocky had already built a respected name for himself, especially within his own lane, but his audience was still more specialized. Chanel Iman, on the other hand, was one of the biggest names in the industry. She was everywhere: fashion shows, magazine covers, major campaigns, and she had support from both the fashion world and mainstream audiences. At that time, she was absolutely one of the biggest names in modeling. A lot of people were surprised when Chanel Iman and A$AP Rocky started dating. It wasn't because he wasn't talented, confident, or good-looking. Fans were simply curious because Chanel was one of the biggest names in fashion at the time, and the relationship caught plenty of attention. From what people saw publicly, they looked very happy together. They were often affectionate, appeared comfortable around each other, and many fans enjoyed seeing them as a couple. Then, not long before they eventually split, I remembered an old story that made headlines. I went looking for the original clip, but instead came across an archived post from a celebrity news site. The date was Tuesday, August 27, 2013, right around the MTV Video Music Awards, better known as the VMAs. Back then, the VMAs were one of the biggest entertainment events of the year, and Chanel Iman was everywhere. One report from that time claimed there was an incident involving A$AP Rocky and event security at the VMAs. According to those reports, there was confusion during the event that quickly became a talking point online. Whether every detail was exactly as reported is hard to verify today, but the story spread widely and became one of the moments people still bring up when looking back at that period. At the time, some stories suggested A$AP Rocky wasn't receiving the same level of recognition on his own that he would later achieve. People even compared it to a much more recent moment when he and Rihanna were reportedly entering a venue in Brooklyn. According to accounts shared online, there was initial confusion at the entrance, but once staff recognized Rihanna, the situation quickly changed and they were welcomed inside. Whether you see that as significant or not, fans often connect those two stories.
Because who in their right mind is thinking about fucking other bitches when they're in a whole relationship? And it's crazy. You said that and you still didn't put a ring on her finger. Does that make sense? No, it does not. And what's crazy is you can tell he's not used to being like one of two pretty bitches. He's used to being the prettiest bitch. So now that he's like one of two, it's not sitting well with him. I don't know.
Another moment people still talk about happened earlier on the day of the 2013 VMAs. Reports said A$AP and Chanel Iman took the subway before the awards show, even though private transportation was reportedly available for attendees. That decision caught a lot of attention because Chanel was already one of the biggest names in fashion, arriving in a stunning designer gown that made her stand out everywhere she went. From the clips and photos that circulated, some viewers felt Chanel didn't look especially thrilled during the ride, although it's impossible to know what she was actually thinking. A$AP was surrounded by his group, while Chanel sat nearby, looking ready for one of the biggest red carpets of the year. The images from that day became memorable, and people still bring them up whenever they revisit that era of celebrity headlines. Some people felt Chanel Iman didn't look especially excited during that subway ride. I also remember A$AP Rocky being very energetic and drawing a lot of attention to himself. Meanwhile, people around him kept reacting with, "Is that Chanel Iman? Is that really Chanel Iman?" She was one of the biggest names in fashion at the time, so it isn't surprising that people immediately recognized her. She was already a major star. Watching those old clips today, some viewers believe he was trying to make a statement by choosing such a public setting. That's only an interpretation, of course, but it's one that has been discussed over the years. The idea some people took away was, she may be a huge celebrity to everyone else, but when she's with me, we're just gonna do ordinary things like anyone else. Others saw it completely differently and thought it was simply a casual outing before a big event. Either way, the subway ride became one of the most talked about moments from that day because people couldn't stop comparing Chanel's superstar status with how unexpectedly low-key the trip appeared to be. Some people interpreted that whole situation as him trying to send a message, everyone else may admire her, but to me, she's just my partner. Others took it a step further and felt he was trying to shift the spotlight onto himself. That's only an interpretation, but it's one that has been discussed for years whenever those old clips resurface. Not long after that period, Chanel Iman and A$AP Rocky eventually went their separate ways, and many fans have looked back at those moments with fresh eyes. What always stood out to me was the overall dynamic. Some viewers felt he was trying to make himself the center of attention, while Chanel, who was one of the biggest stars in fashion at the time, sat quietly beside him. She didn't appear to have her usual team around her, and people have pointed to the clips as an example of why they thought the atmosphere seemed a little awkward. Of course, it's impossible to know what anyone was actually thinking in that moment, and it's entirely possible he's changed since then. For those who say I'm reading too much into it, here's another reason people keep bringing up that time. At the awards show, A$AP was certainly well known, but Chanel was one of the event's biggest attractions. Looking back at the photos, much of the media attention was focused on Chanel, with photographers calling for Chanel again and again. That's why some fans believe the difference in public attention is an important part of the conversation.
Now, why is A$AP Rocky embarrassing my girl Rihanna publicly on stage? So I guess at one of his shows last night, he said this publicly. He said, "Thank God you guys didn't know me when I was single because I would F the S out of you." And I think he was talking to a specific group of fans. And I'm just like, this is super embarrassing and such a weird thing to say. How is Rihanna not embarrassed? And you know what? Maybe she is embarrassed because that is ridiculous. And I cannot believe he said this publicly when he has a girlfriend.
One moment that people still bring up happened on the red carpet. In the photos and clips, Chanel didn't appear especially enthusiastic during one pose, and there's an image where A$AP stepped closer and guided her into a photo together. Some viewers felt the interaction looked a little awkward, while others saw it as nothing more than a brief red carpet moment for the cameras. Either way, that image has remained one of the most talked about photos from that event. So what does it actually mean? Maybe nothing at all, but to some people, it highlights a dynamic they've continued to discuss over the years. A$AP has always been passionate about fashion, and those events are clearly part of his world. At the same time, when you're constantly surrounded by attention, cameras, and industry events, a relationship depends on trust, communication, and mutual respect. Those qualities become even more important when every public interaction is analyzed online. That's why I keep thinking about that older interview with Snoop Dogg. His message wasn't about taking the spotlight away from anyone. It was about appreciating your relationship, staying grounded despite outside distractions, and recognizing that supporting your partner is not a weakness. Whether or not that advice applies here is up to each person watching these clips to decide. The main point of that advice was simple. Every relationship has its own balance, and when outside pressure starts building, it's important to stay grounded and support each other. Success always brings opinions, distractions, and people who try to create drama, so keeping mutual respect at the center of the relationship matters more than anything else. That's why some fans were surprised by the comments made during the concert, especially after everything Rihanna has experienced over the past few years. She's welcomed 3 children in a short period of time, while continuing to balance family life, business, and public appearances. She still looks incredible, but it's no secret that the internet constantly picks apart celebrities and creates unfair conversations about their appearance. That's a challenge many public figures have to deal with, and Rihanna has certainly been part of those discussions.
And they just had they have 3 kids together. Like, why would he say this? Why would he think this is okay to say? Such a weird thing. And for anyone that thinks this might be an old video, you can see it said Don't Be Dumb, which is the name of his tour and his new album. So this is definitely real and very much recent. I'm not sure if this was actually last night, but it is definitely from this tour. And again, if my man said this, I just cannot. I can't. And when you have Rihanna, like perfect Rihanna, why is your mind even going there?
From my perspective, this is why that older interview keeps coming back to mind. There have been plenty of headlines, outside opinions, and people commenting on their relationship from every angle. In moments like that, many fans believe the strongest response is to support your partner and ignore the outside noise, instead of giving people even more to talk about. That's why these recent clips have sparked such a big debate online. At the end of the day, I think outside attention and the need for validation can sometimes make situations even more complicated. That's just my opinion. Every relationship is different, and every couple has to figure out what works best for them. Sometimes one person naturally gets more of the spotlight, and that's okay. The important part is supporting each other instead of competing for attention. I truly hope they work things out, because none of us knows what happens behind closed doors. We're only reacting to public moments that have sparked a lot of discussion online. Some people will see these clips one way, while others will have a completely different perspective, and that's fair. For me, the biggest takeaway is that respect and support should always be at the center of any strong relationship. Now, I want to hear what you think. Did these moments stand out to you, or do you think they've been misunderstood? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves keeping up with celebrity news and discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.